Ooh, look at this. See that? That's how you know where you are. Welcome back to Working Class Customs YouTube channel. Welcome to, for the first time for me, and probably for you maybe, I don't know, but North Carolina Circuit for Automotive Research, also known as NCCAR. And on weekends like this weekend, where cool people bring their vehicles out here to ride the track, it's known as NCBIKE. So we're out here this weekend with Evolve GT. We're gonna get you guys a track review on NCCAR here. It is hidden in Garysburg, North Carolina. If I'm doing this a lot tonight, that's not gonna go into the review too much, but just know that there are bugs, there's heat, and it's not too humid, but that can affect your day. So I'll mention it a little bit, and I apologize for any sweat or any swatting of bugs. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this review of the racetrack, get you guys some nice POV footage, because we can walk the track tonight, and we'll talk about it along the way. Stick around. But hang on, please. Click the subscribe button down below, throw a like on the video, and then let me know if you have any questions about this racetrack specifically, or about track days, riding, motorcycles, anything other related. Leave it down in the comments down below. If you've been here before, I want to hear your feedback too. I got my own personal opinions on this racetrack, and we'll keep it pretty kind of a factual based, a little bit less opinion based, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Glad you're here, stick around. We'll get into the review. All right, so we'll get to track entry and exit here in a little bit because it's a little weird here, but we are near the end of a very, very long main straight on this racetrack. So I don't have the exact distance for you. Let me pull that up real quick so I'm not quoting anything dumb. 620 acre site, 2 miles maybe. Hang on, let's see. Facility? Yep, 2 mile road course, and they don't actually tell me how long the main straight is. So that's good. I would say it feels like a half mile. It could be even a little bit longer. It is long. If you've got the guts or the whatever human organ you want to throw in there, you can 100% max out just about any bike on this straight. It is that long. Just know that down at this end, if you're going clockwise, there's a huge hairpin down there. By huge, I mean like not that big, because it's a hairpin and it's tight. So we'll get down there, you'll get some good footage of it. Got some decent braking markers coming up, but this straight is nuts. So we're pretty near the end. I can barely, hello? I can't even see the other end of it right now. So when you come around, we'll come all the way back down here and get you guys a good shot. We'll just stop at the pit in, pit out, so we can talk about that a little bit too. But this is the main straight. This is where we're gonna start. We'll go through the hairpin and then head around the rest of it. It's kind of a pretty basic, this is a racetrack. It's got a straight and then a bunch of turns. So let's get after it. Howdy camera. To see where we are, you'll have to look at this sign. Clearly has this big old 2 on it, which I will admit is sometimes hard to see, but who cares what turn you're in when you're out on the racetrack. Anyway, this turn 2, we just came down that straight through turn 1, through just about the only elevation that's on this track. That is one kind of down tick this track is gonna have, is that turn 1 has this kind of dip, and then the rest of it, they literally skipped all the hills that are in this area and said, we'll just put in the flat part because that's easier. This is a track for testing sports cars. I'm not sure exactly what that means, and I don't really care because I care about motorcycles. So you can figure that part out on your own. But because of that, it's pretty flat. We're looking at turn 2 right now. We just came out of 1. I'll say that on the main straight, you're cooking probably $160, $170 if you really got the big ones. And then you lose all of it, right? And you're all the way down to 30, 40 miles an hour for turn 1. And then it's right back up, and it is gas, 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 gas all the way through till turn 5, which is probably about the next place we'll stop because there's no need to talk about the other ones right now. But you can see them all, right? And so that is kind of the nice part of the trade-off with having little to no elevation here, is that I come into turn 1 and I can see turn 3, I can see turn 4. Turn 5 goes around the corner a little bit, but I can see exactly where I'm gonna go for a ways off, which is great. Really helps you open up your vision and bring your eyes up. And I would say that's kind of the name of the game of this track. It's a very flowy track. It's a big high speed track. You get on the brakes once or twice, the rest of the time you might cut throttle and you're right back in that gas. And so having your eyes up and out is gonna get you going a lot quicker here and able to carry that speed and have that good flow. And while we're here at turn 2, we do have to mention, since it happened when we were down at Carolina Motorsports Park, this is one of the closest racetracks to that racetrack, and it happens to be hidden cop cars again. So I don't know what that's all about. If you do, please let me know down in the comments. I have some guesses, and I'm sure you guys can wrap me out in the comments for being like, oh, you done this obviously for blah reason or reason B or whatever it might be. But I don't know, kind of weird. Hidden cop cars, there's a lot of weeds around them, so they don't really use them, and they're not all cop cars either. There's some like old Tahoes and Jeeps and stuff out there. So anyway, this turn 2, we're gonna head on through turn 3, 4. We'll stop up at 5, and then we'll talk about kind of the big turn that is turn 5. So let's get after it. All right, we're here about at the turning point at turn 5, so we just came through 2, 3, 4. Like I said, you're just building speed. Right here, you can kind of like tap the brakes, maybe really just let off the throttle and sling yourself around this giant left-hand turn that is turn 5. So you can see they've got the 2 turn 5 kind of apex markers, and over there, we'll pass it here in a second, but there's another cone for another turning point. So this is what I would call like a double apex, where you just hang it out super wide for the second apex. So you come in, you hit this first one, and you head way out, because there's almost a straight in another corner back there, and they might even have that labeled as 6. We'll see here in a second, I don't remember. You come in, you hit this one, you hang out nice and wide, and you stay out wide, and that'll kind of shoot you back around nice. You'll see that line once we go through it, but it's a big old left-hand turn. You're kind of just on that left side of your tire for a long time. There's 2 of these at this track, this one and the one in the back. There's also a decent amount of right, so I want to say the left hand gets eaten more than the right, but with these 2 pretty big left-hand turns, I would say your left-hand side of your tire is going to get a little bit more eaten. Like I said, maybe a tap on the brakes, maybe just a quick throttle down, and then right back on it, scoot yourself all the way around this, and then we head over for the chicane. So we'll pick back up the chicane and talk there. Man, I feel so far away. All right, well, before we get run over by bicyclists and electric scooters and other walkers and whatnot, we'll go ahead and knock the rest of this review out. But anyway, we are sitting at the beginning of the chicane right here. So if you look to your whatever side, you'll see some cones. And you can see the track kind of just doesn't, like, continues this long sweep that is turn 7. So the end of turn 5 was turn 6. This is 7. And the chicane is 7A, B, and C. I like the chicane a lot. If you hang out nice and wide coming in, you can literally basically just straight shoot it. You don't even have to swap your body position to the other side of the bike. So it definitely adds a little bit of fun in here. Don't know how new it is, but I would say that it is vital to making this track kind of break up from the monotony of just long left, long right, long left, long right that it is for the rest of it. So chicane's awesome. I haven't run it without, and I probably won't tomorrow, so I can't tell you anything about that. So if there is someone out there that's run this track without the chicane, let us know down in the comments if it's better or worse, or at least what your opinions are on it. But yeah, that's the chicane. It's a nice little sweeping S, and it is pretty fun to ride. Like I said, you come in, you can almost dead shoot it straight through, but you gotta move the bike just a little bit without moving your body a whole lot, and it's great. So we'll continue down there and head for turns 8, 9, and 10. All right, so we just came through turns 8, 9, and 10, and we're gonna head down this, I say down, I guess there is a little bit more elevation here, but anyway, we're gonna head down to where you would throw your hand up if you're getting off the track, or you freaking zoom around this last left-hand turn, just a big old long sweeper again, and hit that straight. And you can hit that straight going anywhere from 60 if you're really slow to dang near 100 miles an hour coming out of that last turn. So you can hit the straight at a pretty high speed, which is why I said it's pretty easy to top out just about any bike here. So this last portion right there through the chicane, and then 8, 9, and 10, kind of another, could be one turn with a double apex. They call it 2 turns, whatever it might be. That's what it is. Zoom down this quick little straight, take off for that left, hit the straight, and you're freaking history. So we'll go stop. Once we get back around to the straight, we'll stop and talk about pit in and pit out. And we'll finish up this track review, get the facilities rating out there for you guys to get you an overall rating. So without further ado, let's keep going. All right, so this is the weird to me, maybe it's just because everywhere else I've been, but everywhere I've been has always had a pit lane. So you do some sort of track exit and you're in this like nice little lane and then you come to hot pit. This is literally pit in right here. And it, like, there's no break in the pavement between the pit and the racetrack. Pit, racetrack. And that goes all the way down the pits. They just have a nice wall separating them. So I see why they did it that way. It's just kind of weird. You're just like taking a right off the racetrack when you come into the pits. Luckily, like, you come out of that last turn, you're going into the pits, you have your hand up, you're not going that fast, so it's not too hard to do. The pit entry, I don't like that much either. We'll show that in a little bit. It's a little weird not having a pit lane, not having a blend line, not having like any of that stuff. I think even just a little bit of a paint lane going down here, so it's very obvious where you blend and don't blend and whatever else. But there weren't any big problems today, so I guess everyone's got it pretty well figured out. Maybe this is the way to do it. So anyway, this is pit in. We'll make our way down past, and we'll talk about pit out real quick. All right, yeah, so you're looking at the pits right now. The paddock, it could be, it's really just the pits. The hot pit lane is just a bunch of plastic barriers that are made up and some cones. And so it's kind of weird. It doesn't seem finished. And that's kind of like the feel of the racetrack in general, all of it really. So you do have this nice sign right here that says keep right. So when you enter the racetrack, you're literally coming in right here, right onto the straight, where bikes could actively be doing 150 plus miles an hour. That being said, when you're doing a track day, you know, we got the track marshals out there. They're not gonna have you go out where you're gonna end up blending into a line of bikes. They're not gonna end up having you blend into a line of bikes doing 150 miles an hour. So that's nice, but you kind of just hang out all the way. And then throughout the day, they told us today to go ahead and apex turn 1, because at that point, people should be ready to blend with you. I don't know if I like that much. Once again, this whole non-pit lane thing, it almost makes sense to just have people enter in turn 1 and exit all the way at the end, but that would be a lot more pavement, so I get it from that standpoint. And when we get back down, we won't touch on it, but there is like what appears to be an actual pit in, pit out down that way, but obviously they're not using that anymore. So this is pit in, pit out here, and this is where we're gonna finish up the video. You know how to meditate? I don't, but you know, they say the quickest way to get fast at a racetrack is to truly be in tune with the track surface. What better way to do that than to come meditate the night before track day on the start finish line? Anyway, there's a whole bunch of crap I just made up, so don't worry about that. But this is NCCAR, or NCBIKE as it's more lovely known to us motorcycle riders, but it is the North Carolina Circuit for Automotive Research. So when you're looking for it online, that's how you can find it. I know Evolve GT runs here, N2 Track Days runs here, and some other track day organization, I don't remember, maybe Precision Track Time or Precision Track Days or something like that. So when you're looking for it online, that's how you can find it, NCCAR, or look at those track days directly. If you see NCBIKE, this is the place they're talking about. So we've come to the point in the video where we're gonna finish up and talk about the rating on this thing. And here on Working Class Customs, I like to give 2 ratings and an overall. So the 2 ratings are gonna be the track itself, the riding, the fun part, the part that we like, and then the other rating is gonna be the facilities, because when you show up to a track day, facilities can be very important. Know what you're showing up to, what you need to bring with you, what you don't need to bring with you, and different things like that. So we're trying to give you guys a good idea of what the facilities here are. We'll go ahead and start with the facilities to get that out of the way before we get to the fun part, which is the racetrack itself. So facilities here, we do have kind of a paddock, a pit area. It's this big old huge circle gravel lot, and there is power all the way along the perimeter. There's not power in between. I don't remember exactly how many spots, but I would say an average about 20 spots of power. And that's 50 amp, 30 amp, and then 2 125 plugs on both sides of a power stick. So that's pretty good. You bring your RV and plug it in, and you'll have power in your RV. You got power for tire warmers, you got power for fans, air compressors, whatever you want, you got power for it, and it's free. It's just first come, first serve. So whenever they open up the track, if you're not one of those first 10, 20 people, whatever, you might not get that power. Keep that in mind. If you want power here, you got to come nice and early. Now, there is no water and there is no sewer. So if you're bringing an RV, you got to bring your water, sewer, that stuff taken care of. And there's not like really a restaurant here or a building here or anything else here. There's just that open field and then this road that comes out to the racetrack, and the road out and the road on the other side of that paddock, if you want to call it that, is where everyone kind of sets up a hot pit, which works pretty well. You can run power from the other side all the way out there, and then you're not riding your bike through the gravel and whatnot all day. But I've seen it both ways. I saw some people back in the gravel and then the people out at hot pit. So that's what we did today. That's what we'll do again tomorrow. We got a nice hot pit out on the road. We're parked next to some power, so that's nice. But again, no water, no nothing. There's just some porta potties there. I have been told that there's supposedly 1 shower and 1 nice bathroom if you go all the way up to the main building, which is at the entrance, which is like the only real building here. Apparently there's a shower and a bathroom on the bottom floor there. So I can't confirm that. That's what they said. So beyond that, it does look like they're kind of adding a new paddock, or maybe they started that project a long time ago and they're coming back to it. I don't know, but they've got power going in up there maybe. I don't know. Anyway, under construction, who knows? But so that's what you're gonna get for facilities. So we're gonna rate these facilities. You know, they have power, they don't have water or sewer, and they don't have a restaurant. Track days can bring a food truck in and whatnot, but there's also not really any good spectating. There's not a whole lot here. So because they have power, they're gonna get a decent rating, but beyond that, they don't have a whole lot. And so I'm gonna rate these facilities right at a 4,500 RPM out of 10,000 RPM. So that's where we're getting the facilities. To get into the racetrack, I don't know. It's hard to give this racetrack a really good rating. It's also hard to give it a bad rating. It is a racetrack. Like I said, it's super long straight. That's nice. It's a nice rest period. I personally like those a lot. If you like them, good for you. If not, sorry. Beyond that straight, I mean, you take a hairpin left and then a right kink, left kink, right kink, long left, a long right, a chicane, a long right, a long left, and you're back on the straight. And that's really about it. So it's kind of like almost boring. Definitely a fast-paced track, definitely got a lot of flow. And then I will say the pavement is not bad at all. Before you guys go get all crazy, it's not bad at all, but it's not nice new pavement either. And this kind of whole like pits aren't finished, and there's not really any curbing anywhere. There's barely any guardrails anywhere. I'm gonna have to rate this thing right at 7,000 RPM. I think is where I'm gonna end up. It was still fun to ride. I don't have any reason why you shouldn't come ride here. It's not, the biggest thing I will say about it is that the lines aren't super obvious. There's almost like a different line literally for every turn, and the turns are so long sweeping that you can be outside, inside, you could be 4 abreast the entire racetrack almost and pass people kind of wherever. So that's nice in some ways, not nice in other ways. So take it for what you will. That's a 7,000 and a 4,500 RPM. So you're gonna add those two together. That'll put us 11.5, divide that by 2, and we'll have a 5.75. So 5,750 RPM total for this racetrack. So right about in the middle as far as facilities and track surface goes. Not track surface, but the track in general. So that is NCCAR, or NCBIKE as it's more better known. Hope you guys enjoyed the track review. Please throw a subscribe down on the channel and throw a like on the video while you're there. And once again, let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. And also hit me up at JK Moto Podcast on Instagram. Message us there if you have anything. If you're in the area, I definitely recommend coming out and checking it out. It's worth it. It's a fun track to kind of learn and get good at. But if you're looking to travel a long distance, this isn't necessarily one I would throw on your list. So hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you all next week.